Hi, this is Angelica Da Silva, and this is my Triple E 202 Week 9 summary. We went over all the devices that were mentioned in the Arduino book for the beginning of the week. We touched on our Raspberry Pis finally, and we explored op amps at the end of the week. For the Arduino book, I went through and I wrote down all the symbols that are in the beginning of the book. I went through the whole book and I wrote down what I thought would be useful in my journal. Some of them weren't explained in the Arduino book, but they were, I guess, touched on a little bit because they're in different categories. Like polarized capacitor was underneath capacitors and MOSFET was underneath transistors, since that's what they are technically. For the MOSFET, I know that it's an semiconductor device which is widely used for switching and amplifying electronic signals in the electronic devices. And they have sources, gates, drains, and body terminals. So that's what we went through on Tuesday for the Arduino book. Went through and tried to explain everything, every device that was used. And then we touched on op amps on Thursday, which I tried to read the article, but it had a lot of words and just a lot of reading, and I needed more, I guess, dumbed down. I don't know. So I went online and I did some research, and all I know about op amps right now is that it takes two electrical signals into the input and the output and changes it and amplifies it, and yeah, that's all I know. That it goes in and it comes out. But I'm gonna do way more research on this so I can get this down, and especially put more info into my journal. But I'll do more research online before I try reading all the way through that chapter that was given to us. And then we finally opened our Raspberry Pi kits, and we went over the Get Started with Raspberry Pi online. We also built everything together, and then we, I guess, set it up, should I say. So we went through these throughout the week. And then the neat resource for this week was the PSpice or the ORCAD. But yeah, this was very interesting because it was a software that helps you like draw circuits, and you get to see if they work off of that program. But I think Alexander's neat resource will help me out in the future, so that's why I like his way more, because it's a tutorial for the software when well, not tutorial, but a lab for when I install it. And then the other neat resource that was very interesting was Angels, and it was a YouTube tutorial on the building and schematics of a circuit and everything, so it was pretty interesting. What else did we do? Our discussion for this week was the same as last week's, which was waiting for Superman, so I don't really have to mention anything on that. I spent 11 hours this week on the class, and what I learned was that I need to do more research on the op amps, and I learned about, well, not really learned, but I was a really good refresher on a lot of the stuff from the Arduino book, because every single one of them, well, not every single one of them, but within every single project in the book, there are certain things that were mentioned, well, certain devices were used, so we could have read it then, but I guess doing some more research on it definitely helped out on knowing what device is what, and also there's like a more of an understanding of the device, because the Arduino like defines it according to what they're using it for, compared to any but on online definitions and stuff. So yeah, and that's my weekly summary.